June 1, 2025. Trump shares unhinged conspiracy theory that Biden's a clone. Biden says he could beat the hell out of authors behind book on his health. Try not to laugh, but Bono issued a stern warning to President Trump on Jimmy Kimmel. Transgender track athlete wins gold in California state championships despite Trump threat. Open floodgates. Trump admin hopes to bring thousands of refugees from South America by late summer. Dem Rep Gerald Nadler's aide detained by DHS agents in Manhattan office. Collapsed bridge in Russia's Bryansk region was blown up, says governor. Pentagon chief warns China preparing to use military force in Asia. Meta plans to replace humans with AI to assess privacy and societal risks. Trump wants gold standard science. What does that mean? Ernst doubles down on Medicaid comment with sarcastic video apology. Sean Diddy Combs and Harvey Weinstein are being accused of sexual assault by the same woman. White with Fear film examines the white fear industrial complex. The futile quest to build of liberal Joe Rogan. Tulsi Gabbard staff torched NBC News for this fake news piece. Trump responds to report of Musk reportedly using drugs during campaign. Hundreds arrested as Paris erupts into chaos after Champions League final victory. Interior Minister blasts barbarians on the streets. June 2, 2025. FBI investigating Boulder, Colorado attack as an act of terrorism. FBI storm Colorado terror suspect's home as Trump admin reveals how Biden allowed illegal alien to stay in the U.S. and unleash hell on pro-Israel event with Molotov cocktails and flamethrower. Targeted terror attack. Man yelled "Free Palestine" before setting victims on fire at peaceful pro-Israel gathering, FBI says. The liberal media is having itself a night in the wake of the Boulder terror attack. Ukraine claims massive drone strike on Russian bombers in spiderweb operation. World War III alert. Ukraine launches Russia's Pearl Harbor via AI-led drone swarm striking nuclear bombers. Ukraine destroys 40 aircraft deep inside Russia ahead of peace talks in Istanbul. China warns U.S. must never play with fire on Taiwan. China adds aerial refueling to pilot training in move to boost combat readiness. Trump's big, beautiful bill has Republicans squabbling over math. Bill Clinton on opposing Trump's agenda. We cannot throw the legacy of this country away. Our own doing. California Democrats try to figure out how to win national elections again. Polish Eurosceptic Naraki wins presidential vote, Electoral Commission says. UK must prepare for direct conflict with Russia, says Defense Secretary John Healey. Morgan Stanley sees dollar falling 9% on slowing US growth bets. Elon Musk sure seems happy to be fleeing DC. Mark Carney signals the imperative of making Canada an energy superpower on eve of First Minister's meeting. June 3, 2025. Sean Combs' ex-assistant says he brainwashed her when she sent messages of support and love. Trump says U.S. stockpiling weapons after warning Iran will never enrich uranium. The man behind one of the most audacious military operations ever. Richard Pendlebury reveals the sensational inside story of the Ukrainian secret agent who plotted Russia's Pearl Harbor. Trump's new nickname for Joe Biden is spectacular. Proxies. Harvard commencement speaker worked for organization tied to China's military. Kristi Noem cowed by sheriffs into retreating from latest anti-immigrant broadside. U.S. man charged for framing immigrant in fake plot to kill Trump. USAID paperwork found in car of suspect in Boulder protest attack, says DOJ. Elon Musk can't be allowed to just get away with it. Liz Truss helps bare-knuckle boxer who beat up pensioner to launch his new whiskey. Parks and Recreation and King of the Hill actor dies at 59 after shooting. Parasailing young woman panics, unbuckles harness, plunges to death on video. Washington authorities say this semi released 14 million bees when a tow truck tried to haul it out of a ditch. Mount Etna erupts with columns of smoke and ash. FEMA staff confused after head said he was unaware of U.S. hurricane season. Disney to cut hundreds of employees in latest round of layoffs. Report says egg costs down 61% since start of Trump's second term. June 4, 2025. Elon Musk slams Trump's signature budget bill as a disgusting abomination. Daughter of Boulder terror suspect was award-winning student hoping for medical career, now she's being deported. Strip the name of gay rights icon Harvey Milk from a Navy ship? California leaders are furious. Trump voters call the president's pardon of a corrupt Virginia sheriff a terrific mistake. Trump's phone lock screen is the least of our concerns, but it's still pretty funny. Vance says U.S. was governed by complete morons before Trump took office. D.C. Mayor Bowser faces ethics complaint following $62,000 trip to Middle East paid for by Qatar. Ukraine strikes Kerch Bridge in Crimea with underwater explosives. 2 Chinese nationals charged with smuggling agri-terrorism weapon into U.S. Officials say dangerous biological pathogen. Utterly insane. Dem governor vetoes bill aimed at blocking Chinese land buys near military sites. FBI discovers cache of guns, armor, and Nazi paraphernalia while raiding home in Washington state. CEO of healthcare software company convicted in $1 billion Medicare fraud scheme. Federal Reserve ends Scandalera restriction on Wells Fargo. Rachel Maddow's MSNBC replacement loses half of her viewers. We are in the dark. ODOT managers reported lack of communication and trust from agency leaders. Gag me with a spoon. John Kennedy takes law professor to task for calling conservative Supreme Court justices evil. Feudalism is our future. June 5, 2025. Trump declares we don't want them as he signs sweeping travel ban restricting people from 19 countries from entering the U.S. after Colorado terror attack. Trump orders immediate ban on new Chinese and other foreign students at Harvard. Holocaust survivor who supports nonprofit suing Trump over refugee ban surprised that illegal Egyptian migrant would set her on fire. Trump orders vast investigation into Biden health cover-up and who ran White House. Biden White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says she's leaving Democrat Party in new book about broken White House. Trump faces threat to his presidency from Brutus Musk. The 4chan-coded ideology behind Elon Musk's war on normies. Trump administration sees no viable path forward to finish high-speed rail project and moves to pull federal funding. Luigi Mangioni's manifesto reveals reason for targeting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson and failed plot for mass casualty event. I'm the devil. Witness testifies that Sean Combs made threats and held her over balcony. Confirmed. FBI investigation updates on Epstein death confirms suicide with video evidence. Hooters abruptly closes locations in at least 14 states. EU allows members to spend COVID cash on arming Kyiv. Breakthrough in search for HIV cure leaves researchers overwhelmed. No one can offer any hope. Chuck Schumer rebrands Trump's Big Beautiful Bill to the We're All Going to Die Act. Boy, 14, hacked to death in an instant by man with samurai sword on way to school. June 6, 2025. Pilgrims depart Muzdalifah at midnight for stoning ritual in Mina. She survived the Holocaust. Then she was burned in anti-Semitic attack. FBI thwarts mass shooting plan for Washington State Mall, authorities say. ICE arrests top 100,000 under Trump as officials expand detention efforts. ICE official reveals miserable conditions for U.S. immigrants at Djibouti prison. Dr. Hakeem Jeffries demands public release of ICE agents' names, citing aggressive overreach. Deputy Chief of Staff for New Jersey Democrat governor admits party relies on same-day registration due to lazy voters. David Beckham will finally receive the knighthood after being snubbed for years. Baboons take selfie video after zoo visitor drops phone into enclosure. Private lunar lander from Japan crashes into moon in failed mission. The day that Trump and Musk torched their partnership. The Super Bowl of internet beefs. Trump is urged to immediately seize SpaceX from Musk after fallen first buddy threatened to leave NASA astronauts stranded. War. Musk says yes to Donald Trump's impeachment. Declares he won election for MAGA. Claims POTUS and Epstein files. Jake Paul speaks out against Donald Trump and Musk social media feud. Trump very disappointed with Musk. Musk says he won't decommission Dragon spacecraft after ex-user tells him to cool off. June 7, 2025. The Musk-Trump rift has given me a bizarre experience. I finally get MAGA. Musk-Trump breakup exposes cracks in Wall Street's meme casino. Russia offers Elon Musk political asylum after his falling out with Donald Trump. Chaos erupts as Angelenos disrupt ICE raids in downtown Los Angeles. LAPD and riot gear deployed to assist DHS agents. Mayor base furious at ICE agents enforcing immigration laws. We are a city of immigrants. The media seems weirdly excited that a suspected MS-13 gangster is going to be tried for extensive human trafficking. Deportees are being held in a converted shipping container in Djibouti, ICE says. Devil in the Ozarks fugitive captured after 12-day Arkansas manhunt. Rep. Mary Miller faces bipartisan fury over ignorant Sikh comment. FBI Director Kash Patel tells Rogan his house was just swatted and maintains Epstein killed himself. The Pentagon disinformation that fueled America's UFO mythology. Trump admin shuts down controversial TSA Quiet Skies program used to surveil law-abiding Americans. Trump could use sacred native land for a monument to Christopher Columbus. Why is Pete Hegseth going to war against Harvey Milk 47 years after he was assassinated? Jason Biggs recalls digging through neighbors' trash for cocaine amid addiction. We do this to survive. Harvesting opium poppies in Myanmar's Shan State. Toronto air quality at very high risk due to wildfire smoke and is currently among the worst in the world. Popular weight loss drug could cause sudden blindness, says EU's health watchdog. June 8, 2025. Trump sends National Guard to Los Angeles as pro-migrant thugs clash violently with authorities amid tensions over ICE crackdown. National Guard to be sent to LA amid clashes. Newsom calls Hegseth's threat of Marines deranged. Emerging threat of cartel drone attacks at border. Is America prepared? Democrats see political trap in Trump's Biden probe. Democrats' anti-Trump taco insult is a political disaster waiting to happen. Trump warns Musk of serious consequences if he funds Democrats. Elon Musk bodychecked Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent like a rugby player during fiery clash at White House. Musk deletes post claiming Trump was in the Epstein files and takes back threat to withdraw Dragon spacecraft. The dark MAGA conspiracy about Trump, Musk, and a new world order. Egg on their face. Corporate media thought they had Trump on ropes over egg prices. It quickly blew up in their faces. Fight night. Crowd goes berserk as President Trump enters UFC 316 in New Jersey. Hajj pilgrims perform stoning of devil at Jamarat on first day of Tashriq. King Charles's cancer is incurable, bombshell report suggests. Colombian senator shot in Bogota during campaign event. China's rare mineral gives blind mice supervision and offers hope for humans. Seeding the skies for rain. Scientists create the world's smallest violin. June 9, 2025. Insane scenes in LA as anti-ICE protesters chanting "Burn, burn, burn" torch self-driving cars and clash with law enforcement. Trump puts Marines on standby as violence spirals out of control. Trump orders feds to liberate Los Angeles. Waymo vehicles set on fire on downtown LA as protesters and police clash. California governor calls Trump National Guard deployment in LA unlawful. Newsom just dared Tom Homan and Trump to arrest him. LAPD does the meme and calls the insurrectionist riots in LA peaceful protests. Rep. Maxine Waters denied entry into detention center. ABC suspends correspondent for calling Stephen Miller a world-class hater. Trump, 78, stumbles climbing stairs to Air Force One. Elon Musk has PTSD after leaving White House, his dad says. Israeli forces seize Gaza aid boat carrying Greta Thunberg, ministry says. Iran purchases enough fuel materials from China for up to 800 ballistic missiles. Explosion rocks U.S. airbase in Japan's Okinawa. 4 injured. Pope Leo XIV warns against nationalism and urges global dialogue. Right-wing Colombian presidential candidate shot at rally, Marco Rubio blames Colombian government's violent leftist rhetoric. Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker booed by WWE fans. Pentagon secretly planted Area 51 UFO conspiracy theory to hide classified weapons program, says bombshell report. June 10, 2025. FBI unmasks protester accused of attacking officers with cinder blocks at LA immigration riots. AG Pam Bondi warns you can't hide as his home is raided and mayhem engulfs city. This is anarchy. John Fetterman rips fellow Democrats for not condemning LA riots. Trump sends thousands more troops to LA as mayor says city is being used as an experiment. As Trump endorses his arrest, Newsom sees unmistakable step toward authoritarianism. Man behind LA scanner deactivates X account and plans to turn himself in for doxing ICE agents. Trump is lusting for violence. Punishing blue cities was always on the agenda. RFK Jr. ousts entire CDC vaccine advisory committee. The smartest way for Trump to punish Elon Musk. Israel says Gaza-bound aid boat activists awaiting deportation. Chinese man in U.S. pleads guilty to exporting guns and ammo to North Korea. Third Chinese scientist charged with smuggling illegal biological materials into U.S. Ex-Ukraine PM predicts Zelensky will flee country. Drug deaths plummet among young Americans as fentanyl carnage eases. Country singer Connor Smith behind the wheel in crosswalk death of Nashville woman. Taylor Swift gets restraining order against alleged stalker. Mark Carney revives tough talk about America and warns a new imperialism threatens. June 11, 2025. Newsom launches scorched earth attack on dictator Trump. LA's woke mayor enacts curfew and finally declares local emergency as immigration protesters wreak chaos. Newsom leans into LA unrest to position himself as leader of opposition. Newsom tells nation that Trump is destroying American democracy. World's most popular TikTok star Khaby Lame leaves the U.S. after being detained by ICE. Trump to ramp up transfers to Guantanamo, including citizens of allies. Hitler used a bogus crisis of public order to make himself dictator. Clueless Newsom fails to launch in Trump attack. Technical difficulties plague CA Gov rant. No audio for first half of speech. I liked this speech better when the audio wasn't working. Thunberg accuses Israel of kidnap after Gaza aid boat intercepted. British mothers have to accept that their sons will have to die for NATO. Feds seek unprecedented sentence boost for CIA leaker, leaning on his use of Signal. Zuckerberg goes all in on Superintelligence Lab. The 75th anniversary edition of 1984 comes with a trigger warning about racism and misogyny. Thomas Crook's previous online searches reveal interest in JFK assassination distance, while Dad claims he spoke to imaginary people. R. Kelly seeks prison release and asks for house arrest after inmate alleges officials asked him to kill singer. Minnesota just voted to repeal giving illegals health care benefits. Southern Baptists vote to seek repeal of same-sex marriage ruling. June 12, 2025. Sinister George Soros anti-ICE plot emerges amid LA riots, as paid foreign agitators are finally exposed. ICE raids have sent Latino shoppers into hiding and big brands are hurting. Frito-Lay plant in Rancho Cucamonga shutting down manufacturing operations. Trump given bad weather news about his birthday tank parade. Performative austerity vanishes as GOP flees town before Trump's dictator-style parade. Trump's Washington is a techno-fascist fantasy, with or without Musk. U.S. Embassy in Iraq preparing for evacuation as Iranian strikes could be imminent. Trump is brandishing an Israeli gun pointed at Iran. But will he pull the trigger? The growing threat of political violence from the left. RFK Jr. picks new members of vaccine committee after purge. Hogg declines to run again for DNC vice chair after new election is called. Brian Wilson, music icon and creative force behind the Beach Boys, dead at 82. Rapper Silento sentenced to 30 years in prison for killing his cousin. Residents evacuated after dangerous chemical leak at explosives plant in Ohio. Dutch brothers will move headquarters from Oregon to Arizona. Disc golfers game interrupted after a shark falls from the sky onto the course. South Korea silences loudspeakers in gesture toward North. June 13, 2025. The attack on Iran has begun. Rising Lion. Israel launches airstrikes on Iran's nuclear program. If we don't act now, there will not be another generation. Israel strikes Iran. Iran confirms IRGC terror chief Hossein Salami eliminated. Nuclear scientists also dead. Netanyahu says Iran could produce nuclear weapon in very short time. Trump says U.S. will defend itself and Israel if Iran retaliates. British man sat at front of plane believed to be the only survivor of Air India crash. Noem says National Guard occupation is meant to liberate LA from its mayor and governor. The Dems are losing their minds because Secret Service handcuffed a senator who started shouting at Kristi Noem. Proof Antifa is run by the CIA and is planning to launch a nationwide insurrection using the No Kings Front group this Saturday, June 14th. From Torah to trauma, a satanic child abuse scandal blows up in Israel. Crypto now accounts for most of Donald Trump's net worth. Melania shuns Trump's attempt at shameless flattery. Oprah Winfrey reveals Barbara Walters was one of the reasons she did not have children. House votes to claw back $1.1 billion from public media. GOP wins annual congressional baseball game against Democrats for 5th year in a row. One Supreme Court justice just keeps sliding further to the right. Elephants trampling on global trade. EU sidelined by US-China showdown. June 14, 2025. Iran lands direct hit to Israel's Pentagon as Iron Dome falters and death toll begins to mount. How Israel strikes on Iran might open Pandora's box. Why Trump is the most impotent president in living history. Marines arrive in Westwood as U.S. cities brace for No Kings protests. Veterans arrested on Capitol grounds on eve of D.C. parade and Trump birthday. Put into focus. L.A. news outlet caught in lie that ICE targeted pregnant woman. Arizona sheriff says major fentanyl and meth drug bust delayed after idiot protesters confuse it with ICE raid. White House and DHS share image apparently created by white nationalist. Touting Trump cards, president makes dubious claims and unveils weird new website. Trump disclosure. $57 million from crypto, millions from guitars and Bibles. Right-wingers sound like they want anti-Trump protests to turn violent. Newsom ignores Kamala Harris's call during LA riots. Seattle police chief says he'll do anything to protect residents from feds sent to do his job. Lefty power players ex-Clinton aide Huma Abedin to marry financier scion Alex Soros at glamorous Hamptons wedding. Billionaire who played polo with Prince William dies after swallowing bee during match. Chinese scientists find first evidence that AI could think like a human. Antonio Brown attempted to kill man with gun stolen from security guard, cops say. June 15, 2025. U.S.-Iran nuclear talks won't take place after Israel strikes, mediator says. Israel doesn't go rogue, it goes with Pentagon's green light. Trump says he decides what America first means. 2 dead after Democrat Minnesota lawmakers shot at their homes in politically motivated attacks, suspected large. Anti-abortion assassin wore creepy latex mask to murder Dem. Security risk. Accused Minnesota assassin runs private security company, has deep ties to Middle East and Gaza. Report says multiple sources have identified former Tim Walz appointee as alleged suspect in Minnesota assassinations. Political violence is a sickness. Elected officials worry that attacks will escalate. As Trump throws himself a parade, watch protesters across America say, "No Kings." No King's Day explodes with multiple shot, several police injured and a man arrested for driving intentionally into crowd as rioters unleash carnage after Trump's military parade. Riot chaos. Violent Portland mob injures federal officers in brazen ice facility attack. No King's protests. SUV charges protesters, rallies largely calm. Trump honors Army with 250th anniversary parade. Whatever danger comes, the American soldier will be there. Why U.S. history books will remember Trump's birthday celebration. Elon Musk's transgender daughter makes her drag debut on stage in Los Angeles. Gymnast Michaela Skinner claims Simone Biles belittled and ostracized her amid Riley Gaines' criticism. Tourist shatters priceless Van Gogh chair by sitting on it. June 16, 2025. Raining fire. U.S. Embassy in Israel among several buildings damaged in Iran's latest wave of missile attacks. Netanyahu claims Iran was behind Trump assassination attempts. Zelensky claims Iran poses serious threat to Ukraine amid Israel war. CF-18 jets intercept plane violating restricted airspace above G7 site in Alberta. Trump suggests Iran and Israel need to fight it out to reach deal, vows full support for Israel. Trump ruled out Israeli assassination of Iran's supreme leader, U.S. officials say. Trump orders ICE to double down on deportations in dim-run cities. Trump orders largest mass deportation in history. New low? Liberals force young children to participate in violent, vulgar anti-Trump protests. Minnesota manhunt. No King's assassination suspect captured. Stopped before more hits? Report, says political appointee of Governor Tim Walz. Suspect in Minnesota lawmaker's shooting crawl to police after being caught. Former Minnesota Vikings player Jack Brewer slams pathetic Tim Walz for state's decline following lawmaker assassination. Deadly fungus that eats you from the inside out invades U.S. Hundreds of thousands of lives at risk. Cher doing everything she can after son rushed to hospital with drug overdose. Diddy trial. If you dismiss that black juror, I want a mistrial. Red versus blue is dividing stock portfolios like never before. Ever wanted to be a moisture farmer like Luke Skywalker? Well, now's your chance. June 17, 2025. Israel strikes Iranian state TV, warns people to evacuate Tehran amid open warfare. Trump urges for everyone to leave Tehran after broadcaster bombed live on air. China announces they back Iran. Democrats urge people to stop inflammatory rhetoric unless it's against Trump, the next Hitler who must be stopped now. Trump to extend travel ban to another 36 countries after restricting people from 19 nations from entering the U.S. Trump struggles to press deportations without damaging the economy. Federal judge rules Trump directives canceling NIH grants are void and illegal. North Carolina GOP calls for state rep to resign after sharing photo of beheaded Trump. The suspect in the shooting of two Minnesota lawmakers had a hit list of 45 officials. MAGA whips up conspiracy theories to muddy an act of right-wing violence. NAACP says it won't give platform to fascism, Trump not invited to convention. Project Runway fashion designer killed at No King's protest in Utah. Need your prayers. America's longest-running TV evangelist fighting for his life after medical emergency. Mariska Hargitay was accidentally left behind at the scene of the car wreck that killed her mom Jane Mansfield. Faced with paying hundreds of sex abuse claims, LAUSD authorizes up to $500 million in bonds. Troops deployed to LA have done precisely one thing, Pentagon says. China's state security agency warns of phishing emails sent by foreign spies. June 18, 2025. Iran says hypersonic missiles fired at Israel as Trump demands unconditional surrender. Israel claims attacks on centrifuge and weapons production sites in Iran. Iran is shaking Tucker Carlson's faith in Trump's presidency. Grossi admits no evidence Iran seeking nuclear arms, says CNN senior journalist. FBI reveals alleged Chinese plot to create fake mail-in ballots to rig 2020 election for Biden. So, America just has secret masked police now? Portland residents are caught in crossfire as ICE protests intensify. ICE Barbie visited biohazard lab before hospitalization. Padilla tears up recounting incident at NOM event, says escorts stood by silently. Zelensky seeks $40 billion a year for resilience. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones accused of hiding money from Sandy Hook families. Meghan Markle's billionaire friend Tyler Perry sued for $260 million over sexual harassment claims. E. Jean Carroll on Comedy Gold of Trump trial and how she'll spend $83 million. White House condemns ex-CNN host after he jokes about Trump's dead ex-wife. Disgraceful human being. Anti-tourism protesters in Europe are using water guns on tourists. They were out and proud. Then came the DEI backlash. The reality we live in. Lawmakers consider what they'd sacrifice for safety. June 19, 2025. Trump gave Iran an ultimatum but has made no final decision on war. The U.S. could join Israel's war with Iran to deploy this 30,000-pound bomb. The MAGA coalition has turned on itself. Dems are sliding into Trump derangement blender. It's costing them more than they realize. James Carville laughs at massively ignorant Trump. VP Vance's Blue Sky account banned 15 minutes after joining, then restored. Enjoy the mostly peaceful comments. John Roberts' anti-trans opinion isn't just cruel. It's incomprehensible. Neurosurgeon Dr. Russell Blaylock says aluminum sprayed into sky is going straight into human brains, causing spike in Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Using ChatGPT? It might make you stupid, study finds. Kim Kardashian gets personal with ChatGPT in candid text exchange. Thanks for taking accountability. FDA approves HIV prevention drug taken as twice-yearly injection. Jerry Nadler tries and fails to get into ICE facility, and it gets worse for him from there. Shadur Sanders cited for speeding over 100 miles per hour Tuesday morning. Doug Ford accused of racist comments ahead of meeting with First Nations chiefs. Mulvaney warns of safety concerns over White House's new flagpoles. Putin reveals granddaughter speaks fluent Chinese. Ozzy Osbourne is selling his DNA so fans can try to clone him when he's gone. June 20, 2025. White House says Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a couple of weeks. Israel says Iran fired cluster bomb-bearing missile. Iran hits Beersheva after launching only one missile. Mystery flights. China raises eyebrows with 747 spotted on radar heading to Iran. Still Commander-in-Chief. Appeals court keeps control of National Guard troops deployed to Los Angeles during protests under Trump's command. Border czar Homan vows to continue farm and hotel ICE raids, warns employers it's against the law to hire illegals. Employees terrified of ICE raids are failing to show up at work. Los Angeles Dodgers say they denied ICE agents entry to Dodger Stadium. Trump and his FBI director are pursuing a bizarre 2020 election conspiracy. It's clearer than ever that January 6th wasn't the end but the beginning. GOP congressman says he was run off the road by man with Palestinian flag. U.S. attorney escapes knife attack from deranged illegal alien in Albany. Man with taser, tape and rope accused of stalking and trying to kidnap Memphis mayor. Whoopi Goldberg corrected by Iranian dissidents following her claim that life for Black Americans is equivalent to living under Iranian autocracy. Watch Honda, yes, that Honda, launch and land its own reusable rocket. Britain Starmer mistakes South Korean interpreter for president. Doug Ford apologizes to First Nations for hat-in-hand comments. June 21, 2025. Trump's two-week pause is a big gamble. Iran nuclear crisis will break his way. Trump makes bold claim about Iran's nuclear ambitions, says his intelligence community is wrong. Pakistan picks Trump for Nobel Peace Prize as he threatens neighboring Iran. As Trump floats special prosecutor on 2020, he should be careful what he wishes for. A good day. Detained U.S. citizen said agents bragged after arresting dozens at Home Depot. Fox's Bill Malugin is here to set the record straight about the Dodgers baseball team supposedly turning away ICE agents from their stadium. MAGA madman blames Tim Walz for his murderous rampage. Stephen A. Smith explodes on NAACP for breaking 116-year streak by snubbing Trump from convention invite. Why is Elena Kagan suddenly siding with the conservatives? Assisted dying takes huge step toward becoming law after MPs vote to back bill. U.S. to build $8.5 million fly breeding facility to fight cattle parasite outbreak. African state strips French nuclear giant of uranium mine. Austria approves spyware law to infiltrate encrypted messaging platforms. Alert sounded in Taiwan as U.S. carrier Nimitz sails to the Middle East. Why? Farrah Abraham creates naughty AI bot twin that might replace her OnlyFans. Jussie Smollett engaged to boyfriend Jabari Red. He said yes. Meet the Oregon lawyer who dresses like it's 1893. June 22, 2025. U.S. intervenes in war between Israel and Iran, striking 3 Iranian nuclear sites. How stealth warplanes, 6 bunker buster bombs, and 30 Tomahawk missiles took Iran's nuclear site off the table. Trump calls U.S. strikes on Iran a spectacular military success. Trump tells Iran peace or tragedy in special address after main nuclear sites bombed. Iran says it reserves all options in response to outrageous U.S. strikes. Iran's nuclear agency denounces U.S. strikes, vows to continue atomic program. Iran accuses U.S. of nuclear treaty violation. AOC floats Trump impeachment over Iran strikes. U.S. strikes Iran. Trump administration briefed top Republicans before Iran strikes, but not Democrats. Trump's shocking gamble to prove he's not a taco president. Trump's 2-week window for diplomacy was a smokescreen. Let's talk about the report that says foreign bot armies are trying to destabilize the American right and how you can navigate the propaganda. ICE detention numbers have reached a record high. 3 people died hugging each other in fatal hot air balloon crash. Paris Hilton buys Mark Wahlberg's former mansion for $63 million after losing home in Malibu wildfires. JoJo Siwa cancels Chicago Pride show over scheduling conflict. Video evidence shows no physical altercation and stabbing of Austin Metcalf. June 23, 2025. A Midnight Hammer's dream. Trump says, a very successful attack. Inside the B-2 Spirit bomber mission to cripple Iran's nuclear plans. And the mops dropped on Fordow, cooling their jets. How the US B-2 bombers made their 37-hour journey to strike Fordow equipped with a toilet, microwave, and snack cooler. Senior Trump officials say US attacks on Iran not about regime change. Trump floats regime change to make Iran great again as region braces for Iranian response. Trump to MAGA. Drop Massey like the plague for Iran strike criticism. Khamenei makes no mention of US in first statement after strikes. Iran says US has blown up diplomacy through its lawless jungle behavior. Iran parliament backs measure to close off the Strait of Hormuz. Israel unsure Iran nuke program annihilated after US strike, says official. FBI and DHS host call with governors over US threat environment after Iran strikes. ISIS suicide bomber slaughters worshippers in Damascus church blast. A bad guy with a gun opened fire in a Michigan church, but a good guy security guard took him down. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's mysterious visit to Area 51 marks milestone in next-generation weapon that would change history. 3 dead and more than 70 injured after falling from stand in football stadium disaster. Did a rogue staffer at the LA County Sheriff's Department post this insane tweet about the Iran airstrikes? U.S. to demand student visa applicants make social media public. Kevin Durant traded to Houston Rockets, finds out on stage at Fanatics Fest. June 24, 2025. Iran appears to confirm it'll cease attacks on Israel. Iran has not agreed to a ceasefire. Trump is lying again. 3 Israelis killed in Iranian missile strike on Beersheva, hours after Trump claimed ceasefire agreed. We will hit you. Chilling audio reveals Israeli intel agents warned some Iranian generals ahead of strikes. You have 12 hours to escape. Putin slams attack on Iran, but offers no support to key ally. If Iran falls, we're next. What Russian experts and politicians are saying about the U.S. airstrikes. Hakeem Jeffries said Trump's attack on Iran was unconstitutional. What's he going to do about it? Marjorie Taylor Greene blasts Fox News and Iran war hawks. The entire world is going to erupt. Florida to receive federal funds to build immigration detention sites, including Alligator Alcatraz. Democratic senators rent space at the Kennedy Center to host a Pride event. Harris gives California governor's race a serious look. China to mark 80th World War II anniversary with military parade in September. Canada's top soldier says we should buy additional US F-35 fighter jets and stick with America. Karate Kid villain allegedly bit and kissed actress at fan convention. Woman claims she was spiked by zombifying drug devil's breath on tube. Dashcam footage shows California man finding out what happens when you ram police cars with your van in a fast food parking lot. Killer bees spreading across U.S. leave a trail of death and terror. June 25, 2025. Bunker busted. Satellite images show irrefutable evidence of Iran's nuclear sites damage. Early U.S. intelligence report suggests U.S. strikes only set back Iran's nuclear program by months. Israel embarrassed by Trump's furious F-bomb tirade at ceasefire violation. How Trump cajoled Iran and Israel into a ceasefire and forced them to comply. Trump nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. Trump says media teamed up to demean U.S. strike on Iran after leak. Trump looks straight into camera and calls CNN and MSNBC gutless losers. AI-generated pro-Iran propaganda is flooding TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Did MTG just say JFK was assassinated because he opposed Israel's nuclear program? Yes. Yes, she did. Andrew Cuomo concedes to socialist Zoran Mamdani in New York City Democratic mayoral primary. Mamdani brainstorm, city-owned grocery stores. Ranked choice voting procedure could delay election outcome. Far-left New York City DA Alvin Bragg wins re-election. Dead congressman promotes candidate for his seat on social media. Declaring war is our job, declare congressmen who never do their job. Massive NOAA cuts could put forecasts in peril and lives in danger. Carmelo Anthony, teen accused of stabbing Austin Metcalf, indicted with first-degree murder. Diddy thanks judge before defense rests case in criminal trial. Big Balls leaves government hanging after dumping new job. June 26, 2025. CIA says Iran's nuclear program severely damaged by U.S. strikes. Trump calls for cancellation of Netanyahu's corruption trial in Israel. Democrats rage as Trump limits classified intel sharing with Congress. NATO chief clarifies Trump comments. I didn't call him daddy. Democrats fret about national fallout after Mamdani stuns in New York City. Trump says Democrats crossed the line after lunatic Mamdani wins NYC mayoral primary. AOC claimed to be a Bronx girl while trash-talking Trump, but then someone dropped her yearbook picture into the chat. Joe Rogan stuns Bernie Sanders as he debunks climate change hoax, leaving senators speechless. How the woke left abandoned feminism, labor, and the planet to globalism. Chuck Schumer hospitalized. Melania mercilessly ridiculed at fiery House hearing. Biden autopin signer does not know who ordered signatures. Says left in the dark but insists president gave approval. Dem Oversight Committee member calls statement a lie. Texas bill bans lab-grown meat. 7 states have now prohibited the frankenfood. Man admits to attempted murder after hurling toddler onto airport floor. Holman reveals he's been living away from his wife due to multiple death threats. In a first-of-its-kind decision, an AI company wins a copyright infringement lawsuit brought by authors. The self-deportation psyop. June 27, 2025. The Iran strike seems to have been more effective than initial intel suggested. Iran's leader issues dubious claims of victory over Israel and the U.S. White House plans to limit intelligence sharing with Congress after Iran report leak. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth goes scorched earth on fake news, blasts media for rooting against Trump. It's insane what they did. Mark Halperin unloads on legacy media for framing Iran's story like Trump was lying. Pope Leo decries shameful disregard for international law. Dutch Queen appears to mock Trump to his face. Humanity is playing nuclear roulette. Radical leftist congressman doubles down on profanity-laced insults against Stephen Miller. Former Rep. Jamal Bowman correlates hearing daily racial slurs to elevated chronic disease rates among Black Americans. Michelle Obama says Barack divorce rumors like apocalypse. RFK Jr.'s new vaccine panel votes against preservative and flu shots in shock move. Wedding party chaos for billionaire Jeff Bezos and his bride Lauren Sanchez as Venice is hit by freak thunderstorm. Downsizing an anchor tenant tips major downtown Portland building into loan default. Martin Kove investigated in 2024 for alleged sexual harassment on Cobra Kai set. Chinese journalist injured in Ukrainian strike on Russian region. Trump still would have won in 2024 even if everyone had turned out to vote, Pew finds. June 28, 2025. 6-3 SCOTUS curtails court's power to check illegal White House actions. Stroke of the pen. Liberal justices melt down over ending district court judge power grab, warn of our collective demise. Amy Coney Barrett's haymakers against Ketanji Brown Jackson have to be seen to be believed. DOJ indicts Florida man for threatening to kill Alina Habba. Fox News says yes daddy to Trump's cringy new moniker. Trump tells Iran's supreme leader, "You got beat to hell." Pete Hegseth is mad the media won't celebrate U.S. war with Iran. Donald Trump says he's cutting off trade talks with Canada over Ottawa's digital tax. Chief economist Torsten Slok says Trump may have outsmarted all of us on tariffs, despite my prior criticisms. Soak the rich. Socialist NYC mayoral contender Zoran Mamdani wants to hike property taxes for richer and whiter neighborhoods. Jeff Bezos' exorbitant display of wealth sends a clear message to the rest of us. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez give wedding guests slippers from Amazon. Taylor Swift sparks fury after posing with MAGA stars. Where is her self-respect? Charles Bronson thrilled to become godparent to girl, 6. Egyptian tourist who attacked CBP Beagle kicked out of U.S. UK government comments on incoming MI6 chief's Nazi family links. Can China's brain tech make Elon's Neuralink open skull surgery out of date? June 29, 2025. Trump tax bill advances in Senate after Vance pressures holdouts. Schumer says Democrats will read Big Beautiful Bill out loud to slow down passage. Senator Lee drops proposal to sell off federal land after GOP lawmakers threaten to tank Big Beautiful Bill. Trump may yet lose on birthright citizenship. In New York, Democratic voters tell their party to shove it. Kamala's comeback bid sparks Democrat donor meltdown amid fears she'll sink party in California. The red state where Republicans aren't afraid of Trump. Thousands mourn top Iranian military commanders and scientists killed in Israeli strikes. Iran bans IAEA head and removes cameras from nuclear sites. Defense Department will stop providing crucial satellite weather data. Protesters line highway in Florida Everglades to oppose alligator Alcatraz. Venetians protest Bezos wedding as city battles over tourism crisis. Elites who lecture you about climate change took 90 private jets, or superyachts, to Jeff Bezos' wedding. Funeral home owner stashed 191 bodies and gave grieving families fake ashes. China's museums find a solution to their cash flow woes. Viral souvenirs. Justin Bieber posts sweet photos of his son sporting a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey. Orlando Bloom seen on stroll with Sydney Sweeney after Katy Perry split. June 30th, 2025. Terrifying new details emerge from Idaho shooting ambush after sniper-wielding gunman lit blaze to bait to slaughter 2 firefighters as police probe mysterious 911 call. Fighting for his life. SWAT team finds dead shooter and gun where ambush occurred. 300 law enforcement officers on scene. Lockdown lifted. Norwegian pension fund divests from companies selling to Israeli military. Radical threat. Top Iranian cleric issues fatwa against Trump and Netanyahu. Tillis says he won't run again as Trump threatens him with a primary. Trump threatens to pull federal funding to NYC if Mamdani is elected. He's a communist. Canada axes digital services tax and push to advance trade talks with U.S. Russia masses 50,000 troops around Sumy, putting Ukraine in precarious position. Moscow concert hall massacre suspects say Ukraine ordered attack, says Russian media. 1 in 3 Americans are cutting insurance costs just to afford food. Why a nationwide boycott of McDonald's feels like just desserts. Motocross star Aiden Zhang, 16, killed in racing accident. The legend of Snuffy. Reported Mexican mafia figure charged in plot to kill rapper. Never Trumper Tim Miller calls Matt Walsh multiple anti-Irish ethnic slurs. Farmer buys UK's deadliest field covered in plant fatal and even small amounts. China partially lifts Japan's seafood ban, but Fukushima import block remains. PGE wants to add solar to troubled wind farm instead of replacing turbines.